وصفيه من خلقه وخليله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغم وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك ولا يتنكرها إلا ضال. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والتابعين وتابعين بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, Allah Azza wa Jal, when He created the father of the human beings, Adam, and then all the offspring of Adam, He created them as pure in terms of their intellectual capacity, in terms of their fitrah, how they believe, what they believe in. And He equipped them with the intellectual capacity to differentiate between what is good and what is bad. And that's why we are accountable. We are not like other creatures who are not accountable. That's why there is Hisab, there is Day of Judgment, there is Jannah, there is Nar, because we are accountable. Because we know we are equipped with this intellectual capacity and free will to do whatever we want to do, and that's why we are accountable. For example, other creatures, like, for example, animals, they are not accountable. Well, there will be no judgment for them. There will be no Yawm al-Qiyamah like Hisab for them. Angels and Malaika, they won't have this. They're not accountable because they were created to obey Allah with no disobedience at all. But for human beings, they were created with this free will, intellectual capacity to decide which path to follow. And that's the test here. That's why you are accountable. That's why there's Jannah and Nar for you. That's why your life, all life, is a test. As if you are sitting, we are in university, in a test of 3 hours, your life was 80 years of test or whatever it is. For how long you live, it's up to you, up to the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. That you live in this life, you are in a test. So, and the problem is that you are given the answer already. He gave you the answer, and sometimes most of the people, they fail the test. Even though they know very well the answers, but they fail it. So today's topic is to understand why we sometimes fail the test, or some of the questions in the test at least. When Allah Azza wa Jal created our brains, of course, when He created you, He wanted you all to be good people, and that's the nature, that's the fitrah. But still, there is something, in you that may divert you. Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Allah Azza wa Jal created, He is swearing by the soul and who He created the soul. And He inspired that soul with what is good and what is bad. So you know what's good and what's bad. Why you chose to go to the bad? You know what's good and what's bad, but you go and choose the bad. So our brains in general, let's now go for neuroscience, some neuroscience. And no, our brains in general, they consume almost 20% of our body energy. Like all your body consumes 80%, and this head consumes 20% minimum. For smart people, it will consume more, definitely. But 20% of your energy, so that's why the brain is equipped with some capacities to save power. Computers are very well mocking. Definitely won't be reaching to the level of brains, but it's a mock to the brain. Some power saving mode. So our brains, they have this feature, power saving mode. For example, let me give you an example. If you go now from here, want to cross to the other side, you will definitely use the shortcut. There is a street, but no, you want to walk, you cross because you want to save. So you are equipped with saving. So always you want to have shortcuts. And shortcuts This is the thing here, is that you don't want to consume much power for your brain. That's how your brain acts. So for Muslims and for in a decision-making context, most of the time you don't want to take decisions. Your brain doesn't want you to take decisions as long as the decision is taken by somebody else. For example, if you go to a food court, you will see everybody queuing in front of one specific shop. You say, oh, that's the best, and I go over there. You don't need to think that the other guy probably is better in food, who doesn't have anybody buying from that person or from that shop, but you always go with the crowd. That's your body. Your brain always asks you or tells you to go to the shortcut. And that is, in fact, one of the key features expressed explicitly in the Qur'an, which is following the crowd or following the influentials. So for example, another example, same food court, you go and you saw a very famous singer in that, eating in that probably rubbish food, you go and eat with the rubbish food because that's an influencer. I have to follow the influencer. Your brain tells you. And this is in psychology called the halo effect. The halo effect. The halo effect is that you are impressed by influencers. The influencers. When you follow influencers, your brain tells you, stop, don't think, don't take decision, save my energy, go for that influencer, just follow the influencer. And that's why influencers are very rich these days on Instagram, on TikTok, on whatever it is, because they know. Those people who created the algorithms, they know very well the human psychology. Algorithms, in fact, they are the best to understand the human psychology. So that's why you keep scrolling, follow the influencers, keep scrolling. What makes Ronaldo having probably 1 billion or how many billions of followers? For what? What's the problem? What is it in Ronaldo to have that? He's an influencer. Look at it. Many other influencers. And that's why these days influencers are more important than even politicians and even than everybody. Everybody wants to follow influencers. This is explicitly known, the halo effect in psychology. Now look at the Qur'an Kareem, how Al-Qur'an Kareem explained this 1400 years ago. Any prophet, when they started to preach for their people, from the very beginning, come, believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, say La ilaha illallah. They will say, no, we will follow our elite, we will follow our influencers. That's in the Qur'an Kareem. Let me just give you one verse about this specifically. It's the same verse, and many of it repeated many times in different contexts. It said, وَقَالُوا رَبَّنَا إِنَّا أَطَعْنَا سَادَاتِنَا وَكُبَرَاءَنَا فَأَضَلُّونَا السَّبِيلِ. And they will say, oh Lord, that's on the day of judgment, people who failed the test, they'll say, oh Lord, our Lord, we obeyed our leaders and elite, but they led us astray. They led us astray from the right way. All the nations who failed to follow the path of Allah Azza wa Jal, they will say, oh Allah, I followed the influencers, I followed the leaders, I followed the elite. And then another one about following the group. Following the group, Allah Azza wa Jal says in ayah, وَإِن تُطِعْ أَكْثَرَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يُضِلُّوكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَإِن تُطِعْ أَكْثَرَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يُضِلُّوكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ إِن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ وَإِنْهُمْ إِلَّا يَخْرُصُونَ. O Prophet, if you were to obey most of those on earth, the majority, or most of those on earth, they would lead you away from the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. They follow nothing but assumptions, illusion, and do nothing but lying. So, two things your brain will ask you to go for always, to save time, energy, shortcuts. You want to take decisions, follow the halo effect, follow influencers, or follow the group. And those two rules in psychology are very well known. The group in social psychology, it's called the herd or the social conformity theory. Social conformity theory tells you that that if you have even different opinions, but you live with a group that they have really, truly different opinions than yours, you will give up on your opinions to follow the group's opinion because you want to feel you belong to that group. And this is called social conformity theory. It's in social psychology. That's a good domain to read and enhance and improve our understanding of how groups they think psychologically. So social conformity theory is that people usually, they tend to give up their thoughts, give up their beliefs, give up their way of thinking because they want to subscribe to the group that they are in. They want to feel belonging. And that's why the first thing for you to make change in yourself is to change your environment. Because you have conformity theories, you have conformity, you want to confirm, you want to subscribe to the group that you belong to. And your group, suppose that the group are illiterate, they don't care. So you will subscribe to them, you will follow them. And that's subhanallah, it's described in the Qur'an al-Kareem. Following the majority won't lead you to anything. Just follow yourself. Now, the second is the halo effect. It's following the influences. We prove both of them in 2 verses. By the way, many verses in the Quran. I've given you just a sample, 2 sample verses. Now, the second is the halo effect, having influences, following influences. I do this because that person did that. So I do this because of this. I do this because of that. That's so unacceptable. You do or you don't do based on your critical thinking that Allah Azza wa Jal has equipped you with. That's featured in you. It makes you respect yourself. When you think you are critical thinker, independent thinker, you are not influenced by others. And that's the purpose for you to be in university. Is to be a critical thinker, not just a follower. Do this, yeah, okay, I'm doing no. I will do this because I believe in it. I will do this because it is the right thing to do. I will do this based on the criteria that Allah Azza wa Jal has prescribed on me or for me. That is how we should do or do not do things. We, unfortunately these days, following the tricks of social psychology and now how people are controlled in general, which I'm going to explain in the second part of the khutbah. Understanding your psychology is the first thing for you to win in this world and in akhirah. Understanding group psychology is another important factor for you to win in this dunya and in al-akhirah, and to be a good person wherever you are. We will continue in the second part of the khutbah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم واستغفروه واستغفر الله. الحمد لله وكفى وصلاته وسلامه على النبي المصطفى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما لبيك اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت وسلمت وباركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. Understanding your psychology, understanding group psychology as well as social psychology and social norms, you will understand how Allah has equipped you with features to make you survive and go to Jannah. But most of the times you are tricked by those psychological tricks. First of them is the social conformity theory, that you follow the herd, you follow the group. The second one is the halo effect, you follow influencers. And both of them are very, like these days, are very well applied by those who will try always to control the narrative of the group of people. Like in any country, in any state, the government, the state, the deep state, whatever it is, they're trying to control the collective narrative. And that's called public perception management. That's very well known in politics. I'm not sure if you have people, or in security studies. If you control the narrative at the global level, at the country level, then everybody is going to follow you. So they follow those tactics, influencers, and herd, so that you always follow them. For example, you find that if you oppose or if you are in opposition to the government in some countries, they will they will alienate you. They'll say, oh, that's bad people. Don't go, don't talk to them because they are opposition. Alienation means that excluding them from the herd so that you, because you want to follow the herd, you follow the herd and then you will alienate the others. They're not good people. Why? They are human beings. Alienating opposition is part of it, public perception management. Now, in the past 15 years, or 10 years at least, social media has another factor. Although they have influencers, they try to control the narrative by influencers, but those who run states, who run countries, they lost this control to others. Like media, state media, nobody watches state media these days. Nobody look at much. 50%, according to statistics, 50% of mainstream media is being watched now. Less than, like 50% of the people, they watch non-mainstream media. They watch social media. They don't care about news tell me, when was the last time for you opened your TV on your state media? Yeah, nobody cares about this. And even on social media platform, even we don't watch it. So people, they try now, there's a shift. And the shift is by age. So youngsters, these days, they're trying to not to follow the mainstream narrative. They try to inflict the change. Now, we have two major important examples happened over the past 2 months. Gen Z, you know Gen Z? Generation Z. Those who were born from 1997 to 2012. This is called, by the way, there is no cut point. So if you were born 1996, that's fine, you are Gen Z still. So 1997 to 2012, this is called Gen Z. They toppled the regime in Nepal. They toppled the government in Nepal 2 weeks ago. Did you know that? Did you hear the news? Gen Z, it's not me and you. I'm not Gen Z. I'm 53 years old. But they toppled the regime. And now in Morocco, they are in Morocco, they're taking the streets in Morocco. Mainstream media will not tell you this. But if you go and understand what's going on, is that this kind of changing the narrative, controlling the narrative, linking it to the topic. I'm not saying that you're going to topple the regime. It's just letting you understand what's going on around you and how this is applied to Quranic principles set up 1400 years ago. First, again linking it to the principles. First, do not follow the herd. The herd is controlled by public perception management. Alienating you because you are opposition. Alienating you because you tell the truth. Trying to ask people not to talk to you or to threat people, don't talk to this person, he's dangerous. Alienation, because you don't follow the group. Second, which is very important, following influencers. And that's why silly people on TikTok and social media, they are followed by billions of people or hundreds of millions of people. That's so. Now, those influencers, they are used by those who want to control the narrative, the public perception, so that they influence you. Now, this is a double-edged sword. It has created Gen Z, they don't care. Now they use Discord. They don't use Facebook. Facebook is for all people like me. I'm too old, I'm using Facebook. And Instagram is for specific people. But those now who toppled the regime in Nepal, they were Gen Z, Discord. And now in Morocco, they are on the streets. They are going to topple the regime as well in Morocco. I'm not sure how it is, but it is really, really getting hard in Morocco. It is getting tough in Morocco. Gen Z, Discord. They don't follow influencers, they have their own groups, they don't care about anybody. They don't care anymore about the public narrative, which is controlled by states and governments. That's how it is. Does it mean that I'm inciting you to go and do this? No. I'm trying to ask you or to let you understand what's going on around us, linking this to Islamic rules. Allah has already equipped you with your minds. You follow the herd, you follow influencers. And those, according to Al-Quran Kareem, I just provided in the first part of the khutbah 2 verses from Al-Quran Kareem approving or as evidence on those two effects that Allah Azza wa Jalla knew, He equipped you with, and we knew about them 1400 years ago, documented, well documented in Al-Quran. Now, one of the things I want to ask you to follow, or a good story from Al-Quran Kareem as well, about how to challenge the public perception, how to challenge the herd, and how not to follow influencers. Sayyidina Ibrahim, you all know the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim. When he went to Namrud, the king, the almighty king, nobody would dare even challenge that king. Dictator, top dictator, nobody would dare saying anything in front of him. Then Sayyidina Ibrahim decided to go in a debate, open debate, public debate with that Namrud. Then, and that's in Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah says, ألم تر إلى الذي حاج إبراهيم في ربه أن آتاه الله الملك إذ قال إبراهيم ربي الذي يحيي ويميت قال أنا أحيي وأميت. In the public debate, Ibrahim was giving that debate in front of the herd who were in full obedience, controlled by public perception of Namrud and his state, deep state, intelligence agencies, whatever it is. They controlled everybody there. And Ibrahim was alone, challenging that debate. Then Ibrahim challenged that Namrud. He said, my Lord, Allah, that I believe in, creates yuhyi wa yumit, creates people, lives, and they take their lives. He takes their lives. What you can do? Then Namrud says, I can do this. Hey, come, kill this person. No, stop, don't kill him. Look, he performed this, then people said, yeah, they started to clap for that Namrud. Then Sayyidina Ibrahim told him the next shock. قال فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأتي بها من المغرب. Then Allah makes the sun rise from the east. Can you make it rise from the west? Now Ibrahim won. Alone. Challenging the herd, challenging the halo effects, challenging the deep states, challenging intelligence agencies, challenging everybody at the time, and he won that. What happened? They started to alienate him. It's simple. Whenever you are from the opposition, you will be alienated. Alienated, you are not belonging. Oh, this person, take off this guy. We need to kill this guy. They prepared a big hole for him to burn him while he was alive. And Allah rescued him. Allah saved him. Look, I provided you in this khutbah with all what's happening around us, very well, inshallah, reflected in the principles of Al-Quran Kareem, the stories to understand what's going on around us. I ask you, brothers and sisters, to be always vigilant about what's going around us, not to follow the herd, follow the principles, follow Al-Quran Kareem, follow Sunnah. Be critical thinker. Islam does not mean we only follow the words of some mashayikh. No. So I know some people here, look, I don't care, I will follow Sheikh Fulan or Sheikh Fulan. No, that's not the case. You learn, you follow. Doesn't mean that you don't follow mashayikh at all, not at all, with all due respect. But you should be a critical thinker. Because any sheikh is a human being. Can be wrong, can be right. And nobody is gonna, in the day of judgment, if that sheikh was mistaken, they won't tell you, no, sheikh, Allah, I followed that sheikh. So what? You had your brain, you had your principles, why you did not educate yourself to follow or not to follow. So be critical thinkers. You are in an education institution, you need to be critical thinkers, think of the best way, apply it. Follow the rules here in Australia. Australia has good laws, good judicial system. Follow the rules. Do not give up your rules. Be a good citizen. Make use of what's going on in terms of these tools that we can use in Australia here as Australian Muslims, or even non-Muslims, by the way, and as Australian people in general. And whether you are Australian or not, you can still follow the rules and you can still use the laws and the regulations, because following them and applying them, you make it your rights in the best way. The last thing to finish this khutbah with is that in this country, if you know the law well, you will win very well. if you know the law you will win very well, definitely. And most of those who loses in this country because they don't understand the law. So equip yourself with deep understanding of the Australian law, and you are going to be all right, inshallah. اللهم عافنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا وتقبل منا واختم بالصالحات أعمالنا ولا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وثبتنا على الإيمان. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, make us from those who walk in the righteous way, make us from those who bring others to it, make us from those who represent the good image of Islam. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, support our brothers and sisters in Gaza. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, this khutbah all is to let you support brothers and sisters in Gaza, and don't be afraid. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, support our brothers and sisters in Gaza. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, do not let them down. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, be with them, save them, be with them, save them. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, all the tyrants, they are against them, take them down. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, make our people in Gaza victorious. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, help us support them. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, hundreds of thousands of people were killed for your sake. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, you won't let your sake down. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, make us from those who support them. Make us from those who speak out for them. Make us from those who are not or who do not feel cowards. Not to support them because they don't want to feel or to be alienated or to be out of the herd. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, we say this openly. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, we say this openly on the records. This is being recorded. We support the people of Gaza. We are with them, whatever it is, whenever it is, because what happened there, by international law, by international regulations, by all international institutions, is a documented live stream genocide by Benjamin Netanyahu, who is a war criminal wanted by the International Court of Justice and International Criminal Court. And his ministers. Oh Allah Azza wa Jalla, let us from those who support them raise the awareness always raise the awareness amongst others who do not understand the criminal side of those Benjamin Netanyahu and his people and his ministers. وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.